Hello, hello, and welcome. Today I'm coming to you with the October bonus class, and I picked the Caring Leaves stamp set. And I had seen this one in the catalog, looked at it a few times, didn't get it, and then I finally did bite the bullet because I really thought it would be a great bonus class, and I thought we could do a one-sheet wonder with it. So we're going to use, of course, all 4 leaves, and I did pull out that phrase, and then I used a couple other phrases. So let's get that out of the way. And just to show you how they coordinate. So this one, this layers on this one like that. Okay, and then this one layers on this one like this. So that's how the two, now, do you have to stamp them that way? No, you don't. You could stamp them separately if you wanted something different. But just so you know how they layer up, that way you have it. I'm going to put those over there. And I am going to show you this. I picked 6 different colors, and they tend to coordinate together. So when I lay them out, I'm going to keep them that way. So I'm going to use pecan pie and Cajun craze together. And then I'm using crushed curry and pumpkin pie together. And then I'm using pecan pie and early espresso. I'm going to try and move some things. Now you probably will not be able to see everything on in the camera here, but I'm going to do my best. Okay. I didn't stamp one to like show you ahead of time. I should have. I was going to, and then I didn't. Anyway, we've done one-sheet wonders before. So here's going to be what the first card looks like. But to give you an idea, this is what we're going to be working on. So in your packet, you have a full sheet. This is going to be what we're going to cut these from our card fronts, basically. Now, probably a couple years ago, I think it's been, we did a stamping one-sheet wonder, and I gave everybody, I think, 2 templates. One where you can get 5 out of it, and one where you get 4 out of it. I couldn't find my other one, so, but I kind of remember doing 2 templates. But anyway, you should have a template that you can use already once we're stamped, that you can lay it down and decide how you want to flip it around, move it around, that kind of thing, to where you want to cut. And if you don't have to have a template. You know, you're going to have the measurements when I tell you after we're done. Okay, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. And I'm going to keep one little sample right here for us to just kind of have an idea of what we're doing. And then I'm going to open up all of these colors. Now, we only have 2 different leaves, basically, but I have 6 colors, so which is actually 3 different two combo colors together. So one of the leaves we're kind of going to use twice, which is fine, and you can pick whichever one you want. It does not matter. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start. Let's see, I'm trying to figure out how to do this with, I don't want to get you too far out of the screen. So I'm going to pull these in here. I'm going to keep that up here so you can at least see the one. And I just don't want to get too far. I'm trying to look here to make sure I'm not too far out of my screen. And I should have raised up. I raised it up a little bit, but I should have probably raised it up a little more. We're going to try it. Even if I have to, maybe I'll move these over like this. Okay. When you stamp, you want the lighter color to be the solid piece and the darker color to be that layer. So like for instance, right here, this is the lighter color in the back, and then you want your layering to be the darker color. And you can see here, I didn't line it up perfectly. You do not have to do that. And you'll see. So I'm going to start out here with my lighter color. And before I do that, let's go ahead and pull in. I'm going to pull in a scrap piece that I have here, only because just in case I stamp off just a little bit. There. Okay. Actually, I'm going to move that out of the way for right now. Okay, so we're going to start with our lighter color. And what I do, I work my way middle and across. Some people do like 4 corner stamping and then cut, and there is no right or wrong to it. This is just the way I have always done it, but of course you can do it any way you want. And always make sure, hang on, I just want to make sure I've got my right color combinations here. Yes. Always make sure that, you know, you're stamping off the page and you're kind of turning your leaf just a little bit. Now, we're going to be filling in with other leaves, so we don't want these right next to each other. I probably got started out, you know, a little too close there, but it'll be fine. And it's okay if it isn't perfect. Let's do this one this direction, here, here. So it's really just random stamping. We're kind of making our own DSP, actually. Okay, I'm going to move that color out of the way. I'm going to set that block there, though. Okay, and that was the, sorry, I should have told you, that was the peach pie. Now we're going to stamp with the Cajun Craze as the outline. And of course, you could change your colors up any way you want. Okay. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Whoops, I got that one off a little too much there, but that's okay. I'm going to still go with the flow. Part of it is I'm kind of looking at it at an angle. There we go. And we're going to just keep moving along here. I'm getting them off just a little bit, Debbie. Let's see if we can do better with this one. There we go. Much better, much better. And we just keep going. Moving it along. I mean, it is going to take a little bit longer than maybe a normal one sheet wonder stamping because we're doing 2-step stamping here. But it's really not going to take that much longer when you get going with it. Okay, so there's our first one. Okay. Now I have the option of doing that leaf again, which I think is what I did the first time, or repeating the other one, which I think I will do that. So I'm going to close up these two. So remember that was Peach Pie and Cajun Craze. So we're going to close up those two, kind of moving out of our way so that we don't get things in the way. And I'm going to bring that over. And I think this time we will do this leaf here, and then we'll repeat one of these with the last 2 of the browns. Okay. Remember, this is the solid, so this is the lighter color, and we're using crushed curry, which is going to be much lighter than what we started with before. And I probably might need to ink mine up just a little bit now that I'm looking at it again, but that's okay. We're going to just keep and of course, you could use greens. You could add green to this. You could use, you know, all oranges. You don't have to put browns in. There's so many different color combinations, honestly, you could go with. And I always like to stamp in an odd number, but that's just kind of me. So I'm going to bring another one in there. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, yeah, 11. Okay. Then we're going to bring in pumpkin pie, which I have to admit is not one I stamp with as often. It's not really my favorite, but in this case it worked really well, and I also layered with it. So, you know, sometimes those colors we think we don't like as much, they do work in certain places. Okay, and then we're going to just stamp all of these. I mean, it's already looking awesome. Whoops, off a little bit, but that's okay. It's kind of hard to There we go. It was kind of hard to see that one. I don't know why. I think because it was only partially there and couldn't see the whole thing to see where to line it up. I feel like this one is a little bit easier to line up. Not that the other one is difficult by any means, but you have more to it, I think. Okay. It's already looking awesome. I love stamping one-sheet wonders. I think they're great. Now, I tend to like that leaf a little bit better. I don't know why. My samples, I did use the other one twice, but I think we're going to use this one twice. So I'm just going to do a quick clean because honestly, we're going to be stamping with browns. It would have never shown up anyway, but we'll do it just to make sure. Okay. So again, let's get this straightened out here for you. And then we're going to bring in pumpkin pie and early espresso. Okay. Pumpkin pie is the lighter color. That's with the background. And let's see, we're going to go here. So we're going to kind of be paying attention to where we need to fill in. Let's go that way. I think my pumpkin pie actually might need to be re-inked a little bit. I'm going to plop one right there. So I'm kind of filling in. Now, you could do the whole thing if you wanted. You could cover the entire piece and then cut. I like to just leave white space so that if I want to, like this particular one was one that didn't have as much, so that's why I stamped this. When you see project number 2, you'll see something a little bit different. So it kind of depends on what your goal might be. I was trying to decide. It just depends what your goal might be for the cards, because you're probably thinking about what you want to put together as you're kind of stamping. You don't have to. Like I said, you can just fill the whole thing in and... Oh, I think I kind of like what it's looking like. I feel like I need one right here, even though that's kind of right in the center, but I think I will. I think I'm going to stamp over right there. Okay, I'm going to kind of go with that for right now. The nice thing is, just because we've done all this, and then we're going to do some speckling with it with some markers, that doesn't mean once we cut, we couldn't add any more. We can go back and add if we feel like we need to when we're all said and done. So now we're going to stamp the outline with the Early Espresso. And I bet at first you thought that stamping with the pecan pie looked a little dark. But when you put the Early Espresso on top of it, it almost makes it look black. But it's not. Hoping that lines up. Oh, I did pretty good considering I was stamping on a sideways there. Okay. All right, so there's that one. Okay, I'm going to set these up here, and I'm going to go ahead and put the lids on everything so I don't drop something in it, because we all know how that goes sometimes. So let's close these up, and they're going to be out of our way. Okay, so this is where we are now. Then I have found, although quite often you see me doing the speckled stuff with the Stampin' Blends, I actually found that the Stampin' Write markers work almost a little bit better to do the flicking. And I used both colors. And we're going to do flicking even on some of the circles or shapes that we stamp with, but I did flicking on the background. And then we're going to do some blending, but we're not going to do that until we cut. So you're going to take, and if you don't have the Stampin' Write markers, of course you can use the Stampin' Blends or vice versa. It doesn't matter. So you always use the brush tip to do the flicking, and you take the lid, the tip, Let me get up here and you just bring it down and start doing this kind of thing. I tried to teach Zachary how to do it the other day. He had to make some thank you cards for the fundraiser. Some people that had Christopher's boss had bought some, and I don't know. He had to make some thank you cards, and I thought what he did, that this would have worked out really well, but he didn't. He was trying to do it, but he just couldn't quite get it going. But doesn't that just added so much right there, just by that little bit. Whoops, almost got away from me. Just that little bit of flicking. I don't know. I think it adds it's just, I don't know. I like what it does to it. Now, you can go and do some burnishing around the edge, not burnishing, adding some color around the edges now. Let's see, I thought I do. So I think this is the pumpkin pie. I'm not sure which colors I used around the edges. I am going to go ahead and start with a little bit around these edges at this point. And then once we cut, we're going to come back and just do the other edges. So I'm just literally very lightly going around the edge for right now. And like I said, you don't have to do this step yet. You could wait till you cut. And I'm probably going to go back over it because I'm probably going to add a little bit of the early espresso along with it. Okay. I just feel like that kind of softens down our white edge so much. Okay, so now what we're going to do, let's bring in our template. So this is what I'm looking at here. And I know what the layouts are. You'll see them. You'll be able to look at each picture on the PDF. So then you'll have an idea of what you want to do. I kind of like having it like that, but let me flip it this way and just see if this one changes anything. That could work. So either way works really well. But I'm going to go with this way. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring in my paper trimmer. And I'm going to cut. Let's slide this out of the way for right now. I don't need it here distracting us. Okay. I'm going to cut at 3.5 here all the way down. And then we'll cut these three at 4 3/4. And then, I'm going to cut at 4 3/4 over to here. Let's just do that first cut. So we're going to cut to 4 3/4 for our first cut right here. And then this one will be at 3.5. So you're only getting rid of just that tiny little bit right here. Okay. Really, it's garbage. It doesn't have enough stamping or anything on it. Then what we're going to do is cut, and this is where you can bring in your template just a little bit to see, okay, because you do end up with an extra piece here that really doesn't get used. Do you want it off of this end? Do you want it off that end? That's what you would have to decide. I'm going to keep it like it is, and I'm going to cut 2 at 4 3/4. So here's one of them. So there's one of our card fronts, just like that. And then here is going to be the second card front. Okay. Now, you could save that if you wanted. I probably will not. Okay, then our next piece is already 4 3/4. So we want to go at the 3.5, but we have one little section up there at the top or the bottom, depending on how you want to flip it. That will be garbage, basically. And I'm going to keep it like that. So I'm going to start here, and I'm going to go with the 3.5. So let's go 3.5. Yeah, that's going to work out great. 3.5. There's that one. And the way this laid out right there, I think I'm going to cut this one at the 3.5 here. 3.5. Okay. This piece could be used on the inside if you really wanted to, but I probably will not. All right. So there's our cutting. Now, here's what we're going to be making. Actually, let me just bring in all, and you're actually making 5 because of the template we use. So let me go ahead and bring them all in so that you can see what you're going to pick here and how you're going to put, how you want to decide to put them all together. And I'll show you how I did all of them. Let me find 4 and 5. Hope I don't get them mixed up with packets now. I probably won't, but actually I'm going to do it like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That way they're in order in the direction we want to go. Okay, can you see all those? Let's see. Yes. Okay, so here's our first one. A lot of stamping on the background, and we're going to, you already have your die cuts in there. This one I did that had less. We're going to do some scoring along here and here. I don't know if you can see that. Let me bring it in so you can see that. I just thought it added some texture to it. And I just stamped the hello there. This one, you have some die cuts already, and they're all different lengths because we're just going to chop them off and layer them up and cut the ends off anyway. But I had less white space there. Again, less white space, you know, over here. So I kind of went with that portion, and this one I covered this way. Okay, so that gives you an idea of what you're looking at when it comes to maybe how you want to pick what you do. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start here. And I think I'm going to pick the one like just like I did there. Yeah, I think that'll work. So this is going to be this first one here. So in your packet, and you should have all the letters that I die cut out for you. It just spells fall. And if I would have been smart, I would have die cut them out with the little adhesive on the back. But I wasn't even thinking about that at the time until after I was completely done. And then it was like, oh, why didn't I do that? But sorry. Like I said, I didn't even think about it. Oh, one more thing before we get started here. Well, not necessarily before, but at the same time. If you decide you want to add a little bit more blending, this would be when you would want to do that. So because of those other cuts we made, you have nothing on those sections, so you don't want to leave those white because it will definitely show. And of course, if you want to add a little bit of either the pecan pie or early espresso, you could add that too. Let me find a brush. Let me see if I have another brush that has browns on it. Ooh, I may not. Cajun Craze. I don't think I have any more. I need to buy some more. Okay, this one's crumb cake, so we'll just go with that. Yeah, I have greens and blues. Obviously, you can see what colors I use a lot of. This is crumb cake. We're just going to use this one for right now. And I'm going to add a little bit. Now remember, early espresso can get really dark, so you do have to be careful about how much you put on that one. Okay, so there's that. And we're just going to leave those kind of sit right there. Now, I took the Celebrate. Did I forget to get Celebrate out? I thought I grabbed it. The Celebrate is from the Unbounded Love. I guess I didn't grab it. Right here. And let me find the block. We're going to stamp that towards the top right there in Early Espresso. And this Celebrate stamp's really nice, actually. It's so pretty. And I just stamped it just like that. Okay. And then again, before I attached the leaves, I did some flicking on my circle. Just like that. Okay. And then we will attach Celebrate Fall. Slide on over here. Well, come on, Debbie. It looks like my A has a little tiny notch out of it. Not sure why, but that's okay. We'll go with the flow. Okay, let's get, there we go. Something to move these because clearly my fingers were not working very well today. I like to lay it out. Just a little bit. I'm just going to use mono glue to attach these. Now, if you have a word that says fall, you know, by all means, you don't have to mess with this little stuff here, but I just thought this was a great way because I couldn't find anything. I didn't have anything. That doesn't mean there's not some things in retired stuff. I just didn't have anything current that I liked as much for the words fall. Or I didn't buy something. There could be something in the catalog that I missed or didn't get, so keep that in mind too. But I use, so these dies, oh shoot, are called, hang on, I forgot to tell you what they're called. It's one whole set of alphabet dies that you can die cut. Mini alphabet dies. Oh, that was hard to remember. They are called the mini alphabet dies, but it's all one sheet that you can die cut all at once if you want. You don't have to die cut them that way. I did the first time and I ended up with all these little letters like this, which is great. I couldn't decide if I wanted early espresso or the pumpkin pie. And that's great if you know you're going to be using a lot of them. But when I die cut all of these, I just used little tiny scrap pieces to die cut the exact letters I needed, basically. And that was part of the reason that I didn't use the adhesive, because I wasn't doing a whole sheet, and that would have been kind of a pain in the butt. See, it's not so bad. You just dab a little bit of the mono glue on, and it's all good. Okay. Celebrate fall. Woohoo! Okay, now let's go ahead, hopefully that's dry, and attach this to this. And then we're going to bring in our parts and pieces. So then this is going to go on here. And of course you can use adhesive, you know, tape, mono glue, whatever your favorite form of adhesive is. I use a combination of both quite often. My main two are usually the Stampin' Seal Plus and or the mono glue. Those are the two I use most of the time. Okay, there's that. And then what we're going to do now, in your packet, you have a piece of linen thread that should be long enough for all of your projects. And on this one, I just did my little wrapping a little bit. And I put that up towards the top or the side, wherever you want to put it. And then we're going to add some, yes, you guessed it, dimensionals. Debbie's favorite. And we will add some of these here. Before we do that, let's go ahead and add our card front. I don't know why I stopped with that assembly, but I did. My tape runner is almost empty, which of course it is. It always is almost empty when I get to go to do a video. That's how it always works, right? Okay, there's that. And then we're going to take this off. Throw those in the garbage. And then this is going to go right here like that. And then what I did on the inside is I just stamped a few of the leaves on the inside. So you will have to pull in, which we'll try to remember. Oh, doesn't matter. We did all our stamping. I was going to say we should have been doing some of that maybe as we were doing this. But what I'll do is, oh, which were these two colors? So that was, I'm just trying to remember what colors went with. We'll just do these two. I think this is crushed curry and pumpkin pie on here. Well, we're going to do crushed curry and pumpkin pie. So let's do that one. And then this is, no, that was the Cajun Craze, but that's okay. And you can stamp as many times as you want for your inside, which I'm going to go ahead and do a couple more, just like that. And then I'll do this. And that one's going to be a little funky there. Okay. And then I also did just a little bit of blending along here to soften just that little bit of area. And I'm going to add a little bit of the early espresso along with it too. And then there's our inside piece. So let's go ahead and get some adhesive on here. And yes, our adhesive is empty. I looked at it beforehand this time because I could tell it was almost empty, but I didn't want to pull it out yet. I mean, heck, I almost assembled a whole card with what was left. So okay, there's our inside. Remember, I flip it. There's that. Now, our bling is right here. I used, and we've used these before, the Naturals Adhesive Back Sequence. Excuse me. Sorry about that. All of a sudden I got like a frog in my throat. Had to get a drink of tea there. Okay, so all three, actually there's 4 colors in these. There's silver, gold, copper, silver, gold, copper, and a dark copper. I guess more of a brown. Yeah. So any 3 of these really would go with any of these projects as we put them on, because that copper almost looks like an orange tint. I think this time I'm going to try some of these. Oh yeah, that looks good. And of course you could use different colors too. You don't have to use all one color on one. Actually, on that one, I think I'm only going to put the one. I feel like it's plenty busy enough going on there that we don't have to do too much on it. Okay, so there's our first card. Very similar, actually. Okay, first one down. Project number 2 is this one here, and we're going to do a little bit of scoring to do these score lines. So let me bring in my packets here, or my choices, and then we'll bring in my packet number 2. And let's see. So we're going to score at, well, first I want to pick one that has less, like this one will work here. Even this one would work. No, I like this one. Okay. So we're going to do this one. And what I, excuse me, I don't know what all of a sudden is in my throat. I did these at 1/8 of inch increments. Now, so what we're going to do, and I'm going to show you what I did. And then here, I don't know if you can see this. I did these at, they're not all the same length as they go up. So I did 1 1/4, 1 5/8, and it's just kind of random. 1 3/4, and then 2. I mean, you don't have to. So what I did is took my ruler and a pencil, which I know I had one out here. I was just using it. Here it is. Okay. And I put a little pencil mark, just tiny little mark that you can see. And I kind of came over just a little bit. I might do them a little bit. I'll go 1 1/4, 1 1/2. Oh, shoot. Wait. I want to start here at the end is the highest one. So we want to go 2 and then come down at 1 3/4 and then come down at 1 1/2 and then come down to 1 1/4. So we have these tiny little pencil marks there. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do, I like using the scoreboard. If you like using, you can use the scoring mechanism on the paper trimmer also. Now, I'm going to start with the ones that go across here. And like I said, I did them in the 1/8 inch increments. Now, keep in mind, if you want it debossed, you'll have this up. If you want it to show embossed, you want to flip it. So I'm flipping it over. Oh, well, see, now my pencil marks are on the other side. So I have to remark my pencil marks. That's my bad. We're just going to go 1/8, 1/4, 3/8 and 1/2. And you could go as many as you want, right? There's no right or wrong. And then here I have to do this part again. Sorry. Now you'll have this part down. So we're going to go 2, 1 3/4, 1 1/2, and 1 1/4. And of course, back here, those lines don't matter. I'll erase the ones on the front. You won't even see them anyway. Okay. Now what we're going to do, this is a little tricky. I want to start, whoops, I have this wrong. Whew. I need to go this way. So we're going to start at the 1/8 inch here, and we're going to go up to that pencil line right here. Okay. And then the 1/2 inch, and I know it's kind of hard for you to see. I'm trying not to block what I'm doing here. The 1/2 inch, and I'm trying to hold the paper, and come to the next line. And it does not have to be perfect. 3/8, and then we're going to come to that next line, because I kind of moved my lines way out there. And there's that one. Okay. And then this is what you end up with. Now, I did the opposite side. I wasn't paying attention. There's no right or wrong to that. It'll still work out fine. So if you wanted it on this side, I had flipped it and just went right, but I really needed to mark it on the left side, like over here. But again, no right or wrong. Okay. So there's that part. Hopefully that made sense. Remember, 1/8 inch increments, and you don't even have to do this step if you don't want, or you could just do more lines this way. If you're going to do more lines this way, though, make sure you stamp your phrase first. So I pulled in the hello, and this is from the Unbounded Love also. No, I take it back. This hello is from the Everyday Greetings. There is a hello in the Unbounded Love too, but it's a little bit smaller. So I'm going to just stamp this hello about right there, just like that. And I had a little tiny piece left that I think will work, that I just tied my little bow. See if I can tie my bow this time. Oh, there we go. Okay, and then I'll trim that. Just trim that a little. That piece might come in handy. Okay, and then this is going to go on with a couple little glue dots. All I do is take a glue dot, and because this is so tiny, I just kind of round it, push it up around the back of the linen thread, which by the way is back in stock. It was out of stock for a while, which is so weird because I've never seen the linen thread out of stock. Okay, there's that. Now let's do some assembly. And actually, let's stamp the inside of our card. So this card is going in the vertical direction, so we're going to stamp this way. So how about this time, let's do the browns. So let's do pecan pie, and or maybe we'll do a combination of both. We'll see. I know it always seems so dark. Okay, there's that. There's that. And then since I have the other colors out, what the heck? We'll just do a couple of these. I'll probably do the insides with just these colors because that's the ones I have open now versus opening the other two and cleaning a block or cleaning the stamps, which is fine. And then again, let's just do a little bit of blending with the pumpkin pie and with the early espresso. And now we can do assembly. Okay, so here's our card. Let's move this out of the way. I always kind of like to move that out of the way, then it's not a distraction there. All right, now remember, this is like free real estate. If you want to die cut some shapes or something out of these, it's a perfect opportunity to do that. Which I did on some of them that had, you know, die cutting on the outside. I did use that, but this piece did not. But you certainly could. Okay, there's that. And that goes like that. And then we're going to go ahead and attach that there. I just think these turned out so pretty and actually very simple to do. That's going to go on there just like that. Before we flip it, let's go ahead and bring in our bling, and let's add a little bit of blingity bling. I'm going to put one there. And I'm just going to put a couple up here. Like that. Okay, there's those two. And then we'll add our inside piece. And we'll almost be done with project 2. You actually get to make 5. I can't remember if I said that part. Just because of how the template works. Or this template. I mean, you could cut 3 3/4 by 5. And end up with 4. But this way you get 5 out of it, which is kind of nice. Okay. Project 2, so pretty. Pretty, pretty, pretty. I love it. I love the little flicking. I think that just added so much to it. Okay, project 3 is this one here. So let's bring in our parts and pieces. There's the card. There's that. Now, what we're going to do here, let's see. Which one? I think we'll do this one because we're going to put our I'm thankful down here. So let me bring in this to stamp. Now, we're not using this end here unless you want, but I can't guarantee that you have all the, because some of them I cut really short or cut off what I didn't need, because what I really wanted was this, like this, and then we cut it off, boop, at the end. So keep that in mind. So as I stamp, whoops, fell off. I'm thankful, and I'm going to stamp it in Early Espresso. There we go. Perfect. I'm going to come over here. Not all the way, though. I want a little bit. Like that. Okay. And then again, we're going to do some flicking here. Hopefully I wasn't off camera there. And remember, we don't really care about that end as much. Okay, there's that. Now, we are going to go ahead and... I keep losing the adhesive. I don't know why. Probably because I have so much on my desk and I can't see it. And you can go the pumpkin pie first or the Early Espresso first. It doesn't even really matter. Here, I'll do one just a little different to show you the difference. I'm kind of surprised I didn't go this route because I like the darker usually first, but heck, who cares? It doesn't matter. And of course, you can do your spacing as big or as small as you want, as for these little arrow ends to stick out there. Okay. Now, I'm going to go ahead and lay this where I want it. Kind of want it to come over like that. And I'm going to flip this over. Let's make sure I have it. If you were putting it down flat, you could go ahead and attach it and then clip. But I'm going to pop it up with dimensional. So I'm going to flip it over. And then I'm going to bring in like a bigger pair of scissors that I can cut through all of those layers. I don't think my little snips would have necessarily done that. Okay, so then now we're almost ready to start assembling. That's going to go there like that. But let's go ahead and stamp a little bit first. Okay, we'll do those three this time. There's that. And a little bit of blending. And a little bit of Early Espresso. And there's our inside. Okay, now we can assemble. So let's go ahead and attach all of these. Oops, got off the edge a little bit. If you get off the edge like that, you can just, you know, fold it under. That goes there. Got off the edge both times. And then this is going to go like this. Like that. And then I'm going to get my little scrap paper out of the way for a minute. I always feel like it's kind of distracting. Okay, and then let's go ahead. Yes, goes like this. I have a little bit of adhesive sticking out there. Clean that up a little bit. And then we're going to pop this up with dimensionals. Oh, here they are. I'm using the big ones on most of these because we have a bigger area to cover. Now I lined it up with the white layer. If you wanted to put all your layers on first together before you attach it and have it come all the way out, you certainly could. Oh, shoot, 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 shoot. I forgot the little... Let me see if I can lift it back up. I forgot our little linen thread behind there. Here's what I'm looking for. When it's dimensional, sometimes you can, and some, I'm not going to. It was pulling it a little too much. So if you want, add some adhesive behind there, wrap a little bit of linen thread and stick that behind there. I don't think I can even tuck in a piece. Let's see, I had a little piece left. Let's see what I can do here. There we go. I'm going to use a tiny little glue dot. And tuck that in under there. Look at that. See, we made it work. I'm going to stick another, I'm going to shove another one underneath there, I think, just to make sure we have it attached like we want it. There. I lost the one little tail that I did like sticking out, but that's okay. Woohoo! We made it work. And then let's go ahead and put us a bling here. And we're going to put a couple more over here. Okay, there's that. And we will flip this over and then attach our inside piece. Always double check if you think you flipped it the wrong way. You don't want to put it on upside down and backwards or anything like that, which I'm sure at some point everybody's done that. There's that. And we will burnish. There we go. Project number 3. Just love them. I'm really pleased with how they turned out. Okay, here's project number 4. Let me bring in that one. That's here. My desk was nice and clean, and now it's a mess again already. I literally just cleaned it. So let's see here what we've got going on. I think, because our next one is going to have, I think I'm going to do this one here, and then we'll do this one here and put our little strips there, I think. Okay, so this one's going to go here. Let's bring in, I'm actually going to fold this in half. We don't need it as big right now. And we're going to stamp You're Simply the Best, which comes in this set. Did I not get that out either? I swore I had all of these out, but I guess it was the other ones that I was grabbing. It was. So let's take this off of this block. So this is You're Simply the Best, which comes in this stamp set. Let me make sure it's on straight. I always say you should do a test before you stamp a word, especially if you're stamping on your card. And we're going to do a little bit of flicking. Now, you don't have to do the flicking part on your phrases here, but I felt like they looked way too white compared to what we had done with the background. So there's that piece. And then let's go ahead and bring in this. And we're going to stamp with Pecan Pie. And then we're going to stamp with Early Espresso. Sorry if I was off camera. I always forget how far down I can go here. Let's move that up just a little bit. There we go. Okay, there's that. Alrighty. Whoops, blending. Don't forget the blending. And even though we didn't stamp with any of the pumpkin pie, I'm still going to use a little bit of it. I feel like it just adds a little bit of color to that without it being so brown on the inside there. With just doing the two brown colors. Oh, well, padoodle. Well, that's okay. We're going to make it work. We'll put it to that side. Usually I like to stamp in the right corner, I guess probably because I'm right-handed, but we're going to put it that way. Or we might put it at the top. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Okay. Let's do our layers. So, adhesive. There you are. I'm not sure why my adhesive keeps like disappearing from me. Okay, this goes here. Like that. And then we're going to put this on top. I might flip it this way. Hang on. I kind of want to see what this is going. Oh yeah, I think I'm going to flip it that way. I'm going to do it like this. Not that I can't flip it around if I want and still do that, but I kind of like it going this direction. And then this is going to go on here. And as you can see, this is where I did my die cutting out of the center of these layers, which there was still space there, but so feel free to die cut some more if you want, or punch or anything. It's always free real estate to use, as I like to say. All right. Now, this piece we are not using, but I gave it to you anyway. It comes from the layer of this. So these two die cut together. And this is from the Unbounded Love die set, which comes with stamp set too, so it can be a bundle. We're not using that. We're just using this. I thought that layered quite well with that. And then this, I cut in half going this way with the brown. Now it's a little difficult to decide where the center is with these little ridges, but it's okay. You can line it up without having any problem if you didn't quite get it cut down the center, because these are really forgiving. You just have to line up your little edges here. Just like that. And then you just line this up like this. Whoops. Okay. And then this goes on top like this. And this time we're not going to forget our little linen thread, which what I did this time was like this type of thing. Turn. And we're going to do one little more loop-de-loop. Like that. Some people do that so fast and easy. I spent way too much time just looping around. And then we will add some dimensionals again. And yes, I have Cooper and Milo in here today. Okay, so there's that. And that one's going to go right up here. I like that. I like how that turned out. And you know what? This time, I think I'm going to try the little copper pieces, because I think they're going to go well also. And then I always like to balance a little bit. We'll go over here. Decisions. Okay, there we go. And our inside piece. So we're going to flip. So do we want it up? No, we want it down. Lower corner, at least for this one. And then we will burnish that. And just use my fingernail. And there we go. I like either one of those. I like how we use that space on both of them. So that turned out great. Okay. Last one. Now we don't have a choice. And let's bring in packet number 5. So we have the last one that's left. And these will go here. And then what we're going to do here is, oh, I'm missing a white piece for the inside. All right, well, oh man, I got a smudge on that one. Well, whoop, that's not good. Okay, so I'm not going to worry about the inside because you've seen me do them all, but I'm missing one and I don't seem to have an extra one here, so we won't worry too much about that. But let's go ahead and stamp our Just For You. And gosh, all of a sudden it got really hot in here. Woo. And then we're going to do our flicking. I should probably put all these ink colors back together so I don't drop something else. Okay, so there's that. I might have done a little more flicking there than I kind of wanted, but that's okay. Okay, this goes here. This goes here. And then on this one, I'm going to go ahead and do this first, because what we're going to do is some strips here is what I did. So this time I'm going to put them over here because here's where we have some empty space. And I don't measure, I just attach. And I don't wrap all the way around. I know some people just do the wrap, but I feel no point in wasting ribbon or anything like that behind your card unless it's necessary to attach something, but in this case it's not. Okay, so there's those three. This is going to go on here like that. And then we're going to attach this to the pumpkin pie. Pretty much just do our assembly. This will go here. And then this goes on the front. And this will be the only one we won't do the inside, but I'll do it afterwards just so I can make sure they're complete. Because sometimes if I don't do it right away, then I clean it all up and then I don't want to drag it all out just to stamp like the inside. There's that. And of course, dimensionals. Now these I want to put on each side. So we'll go here, 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 and here with these. Okay. And that's going to go just like that. And let's see what colors we have. Since I only have 3 of these left, I'm going to just go ahead and use these last 3. And let's put them right there. Of course, you can put more on if you want. You can put more than one color on if you want. Depending on what I'm doing, sometimes I put 3, 5, 1, not usually 7, but that tends to be a bit much. I had a little bit of adhesive sticking out. Okay, there we are. So let me go ahead and bring them in. There was project 5. I like them both. 4, 3, 2, and where'd project 1 go? Here it is. It's lost in everything on my desk, I guess. And there's number 1. So hopefully you enjoyed this One Sheet Wonder stamping. I really did. I thought this was a perfect set to use that for. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. And I will see you again next time. Bye, guys.